Stop everything and look at your screen because the hip-hop world has just been hit by a lightning bolt that is threatening to burn the entire industry to the ground. We are talking about a scandal so dark, so violent, and so deeply personal that it makes every other rap feud look like child's play. Reports are flooding the internet, and social media is currently in a state of absolute paralysis over a shocking and gruesome alleged confrontation between Atlanta legend T.I. and the G-Unit mogul 50 Cent. The rumors are beyond anything we have ever covered, suggesting that a long-simmering tension over T.I.'s wife, Tiny, has finally exploded into a literal bloodbath. We are hearing whispers of a secret encounter that went horribly wrong, leading to a physical retaliation so extreme that it has left one of the biggest stars in the world reportedly fighting for his dignity and his life in a private medical wing. The headlines are screaming about a betrayal that cuts deeper than any diss track ever could, and the details surfacing about the alleged moment T.I. caught them together are enough to leave you breathless. Is this the end of an era or the start of a war that no one will survive? Stay tuned, because we are breaking down every explosive claim and the viral reports that have the streets talking. The city of Atlanta is reportedly in a state of total lockdown as whispers of a horrific and bloody confrontation between two of hip-hop's biggest titans began to flood the streets late last night. According to these sensational reports, the long-standing respect between T.I. and 50 Cent has been completely annihilated in a single moment of pure, unadulterated rage that has left the industry paralyzed with fear. The rumors suggest that the tension didn't start in a recording studio or on a social media live stream, but rather in the shadows of a luxury penthouse where a secret was allegedly uncovered that no man was ever supposed to find. Sources are claiming that T.I. had been suspicious for weeks, tracking movements and listening to whispers until he finally decided to follow his gut, leading him to a scene that would change his life and the legacy of the King of the South forever. The reports paint a picture of a man pushed to his absolute limit, fueled by a sense of betrayal that goes deeper than any business deal or rap beef could ever reach. As the story goes, T.I. allegedly walked into a situation where he caught 50 Cent in a compromising position with his wife, Tiny, and the resulting explosion of emotion was nothing short of a cinematic nightmare. Witnesses who claim to have been nearby describe hearing the sounds of a door being kicked in, followed by a silence that was even more terrifying than the screams that followed. The reports suggest that the confrontation was not just a typical scuffle, but a calculated and brutal retaliation for what T.I. perceived as the ultimate disrespect to his household and his marriage. The air was reportedly thick with the scent of high-stakes drama as these two moguls stood face to face with years of friendship and collaboration dissolving into a pool of resentment and violence. According to the most shocking versions of these reports, T.I. was allegedly carrying a weapon of a different kind, a sharp blade that he intended to use to leave a mark that 50 Cent would never forget and never be able to hide. The rumors detail a struggle that moved from the bedroom to the main hall, with furniture being smashed and the walls of the penthouse becoming a canvas for the chaos that was unfolding inside the building. Security was reportedly told to stand down, or was simply too terrified to intervene, as the King of Atlanta allegedly took matters into his own hands in the most literal and gruesome way possible. Fans are absolutely reeling as details emerge about a supposed injury so severe and so personal that it strikes at the very core of a man's identity. The reports suggest that in a moment of blinded fury, T.I. allegedly used the blade to inflict a permanent and life-altering wound on 50 Cent, specifically targeting his private parts as a way to ensure that he could never betray another man in that way again. The sheer brutality of these claims has sent shockwaves through the digital world, with people debating the validity of such a horrific act, while simultaneously being unable to look away from the unfolding disaster. It is being said that the whispers about the nature of 50 Cent's alleged injuries were too explosive to stay contained. For long, sources are claiming that the legendary mogul is currently in a state of physical and emotional trauma that has left his inner circle in a complete state of panic while they try to figure out how to respond to such a devastating personal blow. The reports suggest that T.I. has retreated to an undisclosed location in the Georgia countryside, surrounded by a small army of security, as he reportedly deals with the fallout of what many are calling a momentary lapse into total madness, fueled by the ultimate betrayal by a brother. The rumors are painting a heartbreaking picture of Tiny caught in the middle of a war between two giants, with some reports claiming she has been reaching out to family members in tears, begging for a way to stop the impending bloodshed that everyone feels is coming next. According to these claims, the streets of New York and Atlanta are currently vibrating with a tension that hasn't been felt in decades, as G-Unit affiliates are reportedly making moves that suggest they are not going to let this alleged mutilation go unanswered. The drama has reached a point where even high-level industry executives are reportedly afraid to pick up their phones, fearing that they might be caught in the crossfire of a legal and physical battle that could dismantle multi-million-dollar empires in a matter of days. Fans on social media are locked in heated debates with some claiming that the King of the South was justified in defending the honor of his marriage, while others are horrified by the reports of such a graphic and permanent act of violence that crosses every line of human decency. The reports state that 50 Cent's legal team is already working on a massive lawsuit that could potentially strip T.I. of every asset he owns, but the physical damage described in these rumors is something that no amount of money could ever truly repair. It is being whispered that the doctors are struggling to manage the recovery process because the injury was so precise and so brutal that it has left a permanent scar on the psyche of one of the most untouchable figures in rap history. As the night wears on, the narrative suggests that more witnesses from the penthouse are starting to sell their stories to the highest bidder, adding layers of confusion and raw emotion to an already chaotic situation, with some claiming that the fight was actually caught on a hidden security camera that is now being fought over by federal authorities and private investigators. The weight of these reports is enough to make any fan of the culture feel a sense of deep mourning, because if these claims are even half true, it means the end of a legendary era of brotherhood and the start of a dark chapter that will be defined by revenge and regret. The reports continue to flood in about secret meetings being held in darkened boardrooms as the industry tries to brace itself for the moment 50 Cent finally breaks his silence and reveals the truth behind the headlines that have shocked the world to its very core, leaving everyone to wonder if the rap game can ever go back to normal after a night of such pure and unfiltered tragedy. Digital world is now in a state of absolute frenzy as the final and most devastating details of this alleged encounter are being leaked by anonymous sources who claim to have seen the aftermath with their own eyes. According to these sensational reports, the high-security medical facility where 50 Cent is reportedly recovering has become a fortress, with private contractors patrolling the hallways to prevent any unauthorized photos of the alleged injuries from reaching the public domain. The rumors suggest that the psychological blow to the G-Unit mogul is even more severe than the physical trauma, with sources claiming he has refused to see anyone but his closest legal advisors as they prepare a response that could potentially dismantle the entire King of the South empire in a matter of weeks. Meanwhile, the reports coming out of Atlanta paint a picture of a man who has completely retreated from the world as T.I. is said to be sitting in silence, while his legal team scrambles to stay ahead of the potential criminal charges that could follow such a brutal and permanent act of retaliation. The drama has reportedly reached the highest levels of the music industry, with major label heads holding emergency meetings to discuss the future of their contracts and the potential for a full-scale street war that could mirror the darkest days of the 90s rap scene. According to these claims, the tension between the two camps is so thick that several high-profile events have already been canceled out of fear that a confrontation could break out in public, leading to even more bloodshed and chaos. The social media landscape has become a battlefield where fans are dissecting every old interview and every past interaction between the two stars to find clues that this explosion was building for years. Beneath the surface of their professional friendship, the reports suggest that Tiny is currently under the protection of a private security firm as she deals with the overwhelming guilt and the public backlash that has followed the reports of her alleged involvement in the situation that triggered the entire disaster. It is being whispered that a secret recording of the confrontation actually exists and is being shopped around to the highest bidder for millions of dollars. A tape that reportedly captures the raw and unfiltered sounds of the struggle and the chilling words spoken during the alleged attack. As the sun begins to rise on a new day, the weight of the scandal shows no signs of lifting, with more reports surfacing about T.I.'s inner circle being divided over his alleged actions and some of his oldest allies reportedly distancing themselves to avoid the coming legal storm. The narrative suggests that this night will go down in history as the moment the two most powerful men in hip-hop lost everything over a matter of pride and passion, leaving their legacies in a state of total and irreversible ruin, while the rest of the world watches. The fallout, with a mixture of horror and disbelief, the questions about what really happened in that penthouse continued to multiply with every passing hour, and the anticipation for an official statement has reached a breaking point that could snap at any moment, leaving nothing but the echoes of a tragedy that has changed the face of the culture forever. As the investigation deepens and more voices join the chorus of speculation, the reality of the situation remains hidden behind a wall of high-priced lawyers and silent witnesses. But the impact of these reports is already being felt in every corner of the globe, where the names of these two legends are now synonymous. with a scandal that is too dark and too violent to ever be forgotten. This is truly one of the most unbelievable and darker chapters we have ever had to cover in the history of hip-hop, and it has left the entire culture in a state of absolute mourning and confusion over these terrifying reports. Whether you are a loyal soldier for G-Unit or you have always respected the King of the South, there is no denying that a scandal of this magnitude changes the legacy of these two titans forever and leaves us with a million questions about what comes next. Can a friendship this deep ever be repaired after such a graphic and personal betrayal? Or are we witnessing the start of a war that will dismantle everything they both worked so hard to build? We want to hear your raw and honest thoughts on these viral reports and the drama that has the streets talking tonight. Do you think the reports of T.I.S. retaliation are justified, or has the violence finally reached a point where no one can be called a winner in this situation? Drop a comment below and let us know where you stand, because the conversation is just beginning and every single one of your opinions helps us piece together this massive puzzle. If you want to stay in the loop for every single update and the moment 50 Cent finally breaks his silence, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel with all notifications turned on, so you never miss a breaking news report. Thank you for watching and sticking with us as we navigate the heaviest drama the industry has ever seen.